Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the MCC Coaches Show live from Pints and Courts Pub and Grill on Norton Street in Muskegon. Thanks for tuning in here on Country 93.1 and country931.com. My name is Matt Tjapkes, and I'm joined by the coach of the Muskegon Catholic Central Crusaders, Steve Czerwon, and his team celebrating another big victory this week, a 59-16 triumph over Muskegon Heights. And, Coach, you know, we came out of that Grant game, and you saw there was still work to be done. After this Muskegon Heights game, what were your first impressions of your team after that game?
Well, I talked about last week about the fact we needed to clean up some turnovers that had happened in the Grant game, and we did just that. I mean, the word we kind of used last week was this idea of executing. No matter if we're on offense, no matter if we're on defense, of just executing what our assignment was. And, you know, we kind of knew personnel-wise we were going to be at an upper hand against Heights. You know, so it was just the idea that we had to come out and work on what we had to do and execute, and we did just that, and we cut down on the turnovers, what had plagued us in week 3, and it was nice to, you know, come out of there with the victory the way we got it.
Yeah, you handed me some stats. I was quick thumbing through them, and the one big one that jumped out at me, 0 fumbles.
No, I mean, you come out of a Grant game, and we had, I think the stats said 3, but I think it was more than 3, and, you know, you just have to clean those things up, and we – I don't know if we said we made adjustments during the week to make sure those things didn't happen, but we definitely stressed during the week, and we stressed this week that we're just not going to be a very good football team at the end of the year if we make those kind of mistakes. So, and maybe, you know, looking back, maybe it was a good thing that happened the Grant week, and we can learn from those things and move on and be a better football team because of it.
Now, Coach, your team put up 37 points in the first quarter, had a 37-0 lead. I guess after that first quarter of play, you were able to start mixing and matching pieces again for the rest of the game. But that first quarter, your team's execution both on offense and defense, I mean, there was a lot of good things to talk about after that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lot of good things, and when you run the plays, and you know, I mean, every coach has this envisionment that you're drawing plays up on a chalkboard and this is how it should look. Well, in the game last Friday, they came out looking like that. And again, that's just that's a tribute to our guys that did their assignments and did their jobs. And I mean, the expectation when you run a play is that it should work. And it did just that. And these plays worked. And, you know, you put 37 up in the first quarter and your defense comes through with the safety. You know, you can't ask more out of guys than doing that. And we scored in the second half for the first time this year. And, you know, 2 games, I guess we wanted to. And the Grant game, it wasn't so important. But I think just kind of, you know, we saw Griffin Seymour hit a nice field goal. I think it was of 38 yards.
Yep.
In the second half. And, you know, that was just I think it just gave him, you know, a lot of confidence that he can hit field goals like that. And, you know, again, you get in some tight ball games and you never know when or where in the season, but those things could come back to be important. So well, I'm happy for Griffin that he hit that field goal. Yeah,
you mentioned that. I mean, you can put as much pressure as you want on a player in practice, but there's really no matching a game situation, is there?
Well, and this was today, every Wednesday, we our conditioning depends on the fact if Griffin makes his last field goal or not. And Wednesday's the day we really do our place kicking, and we do extra point after extra point. We work on our special things off the extra point, and then we move the ball around. And, you know, every Wednesday it comes down to, you know, if we run our conditioning, which is set up, you know, we will run it if Griffin misses it. And if Griffin makes it, the team gets no conditioning. So, I mean, is there any way you can simulate pressure of a game? No. But, you know, as a coach, you're trying to think of ways, and, you know, you've got 25 other guys that don't want to run. So, I mean, it becomes important for the kid to make the field goal in that situation. So that's the best way we try to simulate it during the week.
Yeah, it's tough. You're either the hero or the goat in the locker room after something like that. So let's take a quick rundown of – we'll just go through the scoring plays. Your first drive, Alex topped it off with a 6-yard touchdown.
You know, we came out and we stayed in our base package, I guess, to start the game off. We just wanted to stay in our double tight, our tight T stuff, and we were able to move the ball well with that. And, you know, you say Alex scored, Alex got another touchdown, and again, it just comes down to executing that play on the 6-yard line.
And then after that, Tommy Scott broke one, 60 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, I think that was the drive where we actually threw on 1st and 10, and we had a nice play set up, and it was a really good route ran by Blake Sanford, and it was a really good throw by Nick. And they just sometimes, you know, the routes are good and the pass is good, you just don't connect. And you know, assistant coach Mike Rebecki always talks about, it was a long ball. He always talks about throwing the long ones long. And Nick threw it just a touch too long, and it was incomplete. But then the next play, Tommy had, I think it was 67 yards or
just 60.
60 yards off let tackle, and you watch the replay of that, and Jacob Holt, who's our right guard, had a really nice job pulling on that, and he came out, and if anybody's watched, Tommy's fast. And, it wasn't just him making moves as he had in other weeks. He ran away from some people there. So, I think that was, to me, watching film the next day, that was kind of the eye-opener, is that he didn't just make people miss. He ran away from people. So that was absolutely good to see. I thought it was me coaching him in track on that particular run.
No, when you say that, I remember pretty clearly that there was a Muskegon Heights player coming at an angle that looked like he was going to get Tommy, and all of a sudden he just hit another gear at about the 20-yard line.
You talk to kids all the time about trusting your speed and trusting your speed and just stay with it. And our JV kid, Logan Helton, actually in the Grant game, we were on the ropes there, and he trusted his speed. And very similar play, got to the outside and just beat a kid up the sideline. So, it's something program-wide we talk about a little bit. We got, some years we have fast kids. And if you're fast, the one thing you should do is trust your speed and try to use it to your advantage instead of always, maybe I'm not quite fast enough to get the corner. Well, sometimes you are. And I think Tommy's learning that right now.
The next play was just a bad snap on the punt, and you got 2 points on a safety. After that, another Alex Lewandowski 7-yard run, and then in the next series, he took a 15-yard pass from Nick Holt in for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's when we got kind of, we're working on a little bit of a different package, which we've kind of phased in. We always want to be able to run out 2 tights and run our power game. But we kind of have in the back of our mind to do another package. If we're playing a team that's a little bigger and stronger than up front, we've got to be able to do something else. So, that's actually how we start practice every day is working on this kind of a no huddle spread package. And, it's not something maybe we want to go to, but I just think as a coach, you need another option if what you're doing doesn't work. You need to go with something else. So I think Alex on the week previous at Grant, the same exact play, actually dropped that ball, and he came back on the next game here, and he caught it, and he made a nice little move. Tommy Scott, I just remember in my head, had a nice little block sealing the guy to the outside, and Alex actually beat a guy, and it was a real nice play. And Alex's comment to me was, and I caught it, because he had kind of caught it or not caught it in Grant. So, I don't even worry about Alex catching the ball. I think he was more surprised than me. So, the expectation was that he caught the ball and did something good with it, and that's exactly what he did.